guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and sitting here with a collab video with my good friend Samantha from Books with Samantha. We have had our book club, Historical Hellions, for 3 years now, which is absolutely insane. We started at the beginning of 2021, so now is our final month of our 3rd year, and that is absolutely insane. We definitely bonded over our love of historical romances, and she's a really close friend of mine. I love her so much, and we decided to do this video together. We are going to be tier ranking every book we've read for our book club. That means we are tier ranking 35, because we have not read our last one yet, at least I haven't, historical romances that we have read in the last 3 years that were published before the year 2000. These are old school bodice rippers. Some we've loved, some we've hated, some we've DNF'd, so I cannot wait to get to it. So I have 5 categories. We didn't chat about what our categories would be, but definitely check out her video because I'm excited to see. She has very strong opinions about some of these. Some I loved, she didn't, and vice versa, but we have literally obsessed. So if I loved it, I'm obsessed with it. One of my favorites, top tier. We have really liked it, so it was a solid read. We have meh, it was fine. Not bad, but not good. Then we have it's a no, where like no, I gave it 1 or 2 stars. And then we have DNF. So I've DNF'd a handful because some of them immediately I was like, nope, not gonna happen. So I'm so excited. I'm gonna go ahead and put the screen up and we'll get started. Okay, so the first one I see is Ransom. Oh my god. So I knew this would be a favorite. This one, it's gonna go in literally obsessed. I knew this would be a favorite of mine because I love, oh here, let me move this up a little bit. We don't need to see that top part. Okay, so I knew this was gonna be a favorite because I love The Secret by Julie Garwood, and this is the sequel to that. So we have just sweeping romances, lots of adventure. It takes place in Scotland. I think this followed 2 people. I will say some of these books I read 2 or 3 years ago, so my memory's a little fuzzy, but I love Julie Garwood so much, so obviously a favorite. Love Only Once is the first book in the Mallory Anderson series, and I'm obsessed. This one was so good. It reminded me a lot of the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series. I'm blanking on the name, but it was so good, and she borrowed the carriage of someone he was sleeping with. He thought it was the person he was sleeping with, and he kidnapped her to get revenge on her, and it was her and not the person he was trying to kidnap. It was a lot of fun. I love this series so much. I'm pretty sure that was that one, because that was one of the first ones we read. Not go wrong with Joanna Lindsay, but also we're already starting really strong, so I'm excited. Okay, Connie Mason, Ice and Rapture. I really like this. I think I appreciated it more after I read it, so I love action and adventure, and this one I believe was the Alaska one. So the hero was like venturing across so much, and I think he was on the run for some reason, and I love it when they take place in really unique settings but also are really interesting. If it's bogged down in the history, I am bored to tears, but if there's action and adventure, I really like it, and I can always depend on Connie Mason to have a really fun time. I think we read one more by Connie, maybe? I don't know, I don't see it in here, but she's a really good one. A Whisper of Roses. Cannot tell you the plot of this one right now because I remember really liking it. I think this was a Scottish one, and I love Teresa Medeiros though because the one, Yours Until Dawn, literally obsessed. I vividly remember that one. I loved it. But I do remember really liking this one. I think I gave it 4 stars. I think it's in Scotland, and if you put a historical romance in Scotland, I'm gonna like it. But Teresa Medeiros will always be a high one for me. Okay. Oh my god. So we just have all my favorites in the beginning. This just like randomly generated the order, but Reckless, obsessed, Ravished, obsessed. These 2, so good. So Ravished is my personal favorite because this one, I believe this one was the one where she was really obsessed with bones and like fossils and paleontology, and she noticed in this cave that she was looking in that they were smugglers, so she asks the local guy who is titled, I never remember what title they are, but she asks him for help, and then they end up being stuck in there together, and then they get ruined together and people are scared of him. I'm pretty sure that's Ravished. I loved it. Reckless, she needed help for something and he ended up helping her, and there's so much action and adventure in these and such really strong heroines, which I have a lot of problems with some historical romances in the 70s and 80s specifically, where the heroines are not strong and they just like sit there and let everything happen to them, and they're like, oh my god, my life sucks. I'm like, well, do something about it, please. And I love when they have agency, and Amanda Quick always has agency. I love her. Wild Love, Wild Land. I don't know if I want to put it in meh because like this one again, oh, this is the other Connie Mason. I really appreciated it after I read it. This one did have a lot of history, but it took place in Australia, which was so cool. And they had to like go to this town and they had to like go on this long trek to this town. And the heroine was like trying to get back to the hero and almost died when she was going on this like trek, and someone was trying to kill her at one point, and I was very entertained when it came to this book. So I'm putting in really liked it. I might have only given it 3 stars, but it was definitely a good time. This Cat Martin made me really sad. I love Cat Martin. Night Secrets is one of my absolute favorite historical romances. This one is a cowboy western. And unfortunately for me, westerns are very boring unless it's an all-time favorite author. So Cat Martin didn't do it for me. This book did not do it for me. We have Nora Roberts' historical. I wouldn't call this obsessed, but I really, really like this one. This one is Scottish, and I remember it being like a very sweeping romance, and there were a couple of romances I feel like in here. It was very small. We read it over a year ago, so again, recollection's a little fuzzy. Oh, they had a fight in Culloden, I think. I remember the end. Oh my gosh, I remember the end. It was crazy. It was good. It was crazy, but it was good. Shanna. I initially was really annoyed with Shanna, but I'm going and really liked it. Shanna is a wild ride. Honestly, it might go into obsessed, but like no, because I remember being very annoyed with Shanna because while she had agency, she made really stupid decisions that put the hero at risk, but it was such a fun time and made me really love Kathleen Woodiwiss. Her other book, not so much. Her other book made me really, really annoyed. So I definitely want to continue reading Kathleen Woodiwiss. I just need to know which ones have a lot of action and adventure and a heroine who's really strong and has a really strong personality. That's what Shanna had, so I ended up really appreciating it after I read it. During it, I was like, I want to hit Shanna over the head. She's being so annoying, but the hero was great. I loved it. So this one, look at this list so far. We have some duds coming. Then we have Annie's Song, which I don't know if I want to put it under meh. That seems kind of mean, but I did give this 3 stars. This one is one that I know is very iconic. I know a lot of people love, but the heroine, she had an illness when she was young, and then she gets taken advantage of and gets pregnant, and I believe it's that guy's brother that ends up marrying her and falling in love with her, but it is constantly talked about how young she is and how she doesn't know a lot because she was so sheltered as a child. So she feels very infant-like, and we're supposed to believe she's like falling in love and having this like sweeping romance with this man that does end up sexual, and it just made me a little uncomfortable, and it's definitely a slower plot. I know people love this. I know it has like a sweeping romance, but not my personal favorite. A Gentle Feuding is one I remember I really liked, but I don't remember the plot of this one either. Joanna Lindsay, I will love her books. I don't think I've read a single one that I've hated. Have I? I don't think so, but I'm pretty sure this one is a Scottish one, and I really liked it. Flowers from the Storm, I believe, was about the hero who he had something like medically happen to him in the beginning, and then he recovered from it, right? I think I really like this one. This is another very sweeping romance, very iconic, and I really like the journey that they went on, and I think wasn't he put in like an institution and like brutally treated, because like institutions back then, no. She helped him. I liked this one. I read this a very long time ago though. Phantom in Time's one we recently read. This is the first one that's gonna go it's a no. This one wasn't bad. Like I feel bad putting in this category, but I literally gave it 2 stars. It was very, very boring. This one was kind of Phantom of the Opera inspired, had time travel too, but the time travel made no sense. The heroine wasn't that likable. The hero was not likable. He hit on literally everything that breathed and then decided he wanted her. And then she's like, okay. And I was like, I don't like that kind of romance, so no. A Pirate's Pleasure, I really, really, really enjoyed. This one was so fun. I don't know if I would put it. Do I want to put it? I don't think I was obsessed, but this one had a little plot twist in there that I was just like, this is so fun. This is everything I wanted in a pirate romance. What was not everything I wanted in a pirate romance was Virginia Henley. The Pirate and the Pagan, every single one of us DNF'd. The writing was not good. I had a really hard time getting through that writing, so I'm pretty sure every single one of us DNF'd. This was really early on. We were excited. Heather Graham's was everything, like I said, a pirate romance should be. It was adventurous. It had like a really good romance where the heroine was like, I don't want it, but I do want it. And then the hero was just like kind of bad but kind of good. And she was falling in love with a couple people because she was betrothed to, and like, okay, you know what? This was one of my favorite pirate romances. I'm moving it up to literally obsessed, but Pirate and the Pagan, no. No. I'm pretty sure Across the Moonlit Sea I gave 2 stars. Could I tell you the plot? No. but when I was making this video, I remember I think I gave this 2 stars. Fires of Winter I DNF'd. We're getting into the bad ones now. Fires of Winter was so bogged down by historical stuff. I didn't even get 50 pages in, and I was like, I literally cannot. I cannot read this book. I do not care about what was happening. I DNF'd this one. Okay, this other Eden I also DNF'd, but it would be it's a no. This book, I got 100 and something pages into it. The heroine's like 13. She is whipped in the beginning for, we don't even know why, for like 100 pages. And the hero's 40. And the heroine just like is shuffled from place to place. She says in this carriage, I'm gonna get my revenge on him. Literally, I guess that doesn't happen in the entire book. And the hero is just insufferable, and he's 40 and she's 13. No. This was definitely more gothic, as in like a gothic fiction book, not romantic whatsoever. I could not put myself through that. So a moment in time, I don't think I gave this a good rating. I don't really remember a lot about it, but I feel bad putting it in It's a No because I don't remember a lot about it. I don't remember hating it, but I'm pretty sure it's time travel. It was. And I remember the ending being very interesting. So we're gonna give that meh. A Knight in Shining Armor I actually really enjoyed. This one I remember because it started out contemporary, and I was like, did we not pick a historical romance for our book club? And she ends up having like a really horrible boyfriend, fiance? He had a daughter who was also horrible to her. And then they like abandoned her at this church. So she's like against this gravestone crying, and she gets taken back to medieval times, and she falls in love with this guy. And it's so good. I really enjoyed it. And like they had like a lot of realistic things about what it would be like someone contemporary, like going back into like that time. It was a lot of fun. I liked it. I'm pretty sure someone else got amnesia in this too, if I remember correctly. Virgin Fire. No bathtub in sight. No bathtub in sight. They were obsessed with their minds. And I was, okay, so there was a bathtub. But not as much as, like, it took a long time for this bathtub to show up, and I was like, you cannot have a bathtub on the cover with a tagline about the bathtub and not give us a bathtub romance. No. Thunder and Roses, I can't even tell you the plot of this one. I think I kind of enjoyed it. This one I read a while ago. No idea. Texas Destiny, I really liked. Oh, do I want to put in obsessed? This one is a cowboy one that okay, I'm just gonna put in really liked because it's a cowboy one I really liked. He is picking her up off the train. He is scarred, and it is his brother's betrothed. And they fall in love. I love it when they're supposed to be with the other sibling and then fall in love with someone else. So good. So I really enjoyed that one. Silver Flame, I DNF'd. I just think I didn't like it. I couldn't find the Bodice Ripper cover, so that's the only one I had. But sometimes the book will be really hard to read. So I, like writing style wise, it's just like very heavy and descriptive, and I'm just like, get to the point. I think this was one of them. Once and Always, I don't think I liked. I know that Samantha hated it. This one I'm gonna have to look up because Samantha has beef with Judith McNaught, like serious beef with her. So I don't remember. I remember the hero. Okay, I gave it 2 stars. Okay, so it was a no for me. I'm pretty sure hers always have really bad consent issues, except for her dream one. Her most popular one I loved. I absolutely love that one. This one says that, okay, yeah, so I said the hero in this book is vile, rapes the heroine on their wedding night. The heroine learns about his traumatizing past, forgives him, and the next 150 pages tries to win him back. He did 0 groveling. Okay, so I just hated it, and I guess for a good reason. The Bride by Julie Garwood, I really liked. Another Scottish historical. I'm pretty sure that this one was a Marriage of Convenience as well. I did give this one 5 stars. Should I move it into, but this one I don't remember the plot of that much, so I feel, okay, well, I say it's an absolute favorite. Oh, I do remember this one. I really liked it. Okay, I'm gonna go put in Literally Obsessed. She has to marry him. She won't back down. He wants just like a docile wife, and she's like, nope, not gonna be me. Untamed, DNF'd. This one, again, this is the language. I was just like, I am not enjoying this writing style whatsoever. I don't love medieval, so Kingdom of Dreams is a Judith McNaught one I liked. I forgot about that. Okay, Sky O'Malley is like top tier. I think I even rated it 4 stars, but I'm obsessed. Like, I'm so obsessed with Sky O'Malley, and it was the wildest ride I've ever been on, and I'm so excited it's going to be a show, and I cannot stop thinking about it. I remember this plot so vividly. The heroine has to marry like 4 different people, but it's her relationship with the one guy from the beginning, and so much happens. I could not put this down. Could not put it down. I'm missing a book, and I know what book I'm missing. I don't know why it's not on here. I'll talk about it at the end. Splendid, I really, really, really liked. This one was one we read really early on too, but I remember, so Julia Quinn's are just so easy to read, and just because she's not still writing anymore. Hopefully she'll write a historical romance again, but hers are just so easy to read and so engrossing, and I love that about her books. So, oh, that's right. So she's an American, and she's going to inherit a company, and she wants to marry American, and she has to go back to America eventually, but then she falls in love with our hero, and they're friends the whole time. I don't know if this is the one where, what book is that? She drops her hat off the side and jumps in and gets it, and people are like, oh my gosh, scandalized, but she just does what she wants in society. The Flame and the Flower, it's a no. I was really excited for this. I was in the minority of this. I did not like it, and everybody else loved it. I gave it 2 stars. There was absolutely non-consent going on, and the hero was like, well, you're gonna be mine anyways, it's fine. Because it was non-consent because of misunderstanding, and he was like taking her still against her will, even though she was saying no. And then he was like, oh, my bad, but you're just gonna be mine still. So I had a really hard time liking it. It was very, very boring. The heroine just like blindly fell in love with him, did nothing, had no agency. I was not a fan. I was not a fan of this one. Devil's Bride is just so fun. This is my second time reading it. This one had a lot of action, adventure, sweeping romance. The hero was like, I love you, you're gonna be mine, and she wanted it too. So really, really love that one. So good. Then Came You, I loved. He's supposed to marry her sister, and her parents think that she's too eccentric. She doesn't care about what anybody thinks. She's back home to take care of her sister and help her through her marriage. She was the one that was friends with Derek Craven. Okay, I love this one. Listen, I read this in 2021. It has been over 2 years since I read this book, but it was so, so good. I was obsessed. Night Song, I'm obsessed with. I love Night Song. Such a sweeping romance. She's a school teacher. He is a soldier, and they fall in love, and it is so sweeping and romantic and amazing. The one that I forgot to put on this list was Vivid. Vivid, I can't, like, where is it? It's not here. Vivid is one that I really, really liked. I'm putting it under really liked. Vivid was one where she's a doctor and they don't get off on the right foot, and it was so fun. Beverly Jenkins has such fun, engaging characters. You feel really connected to them, invested in their lives. While the plots aren't always like super, super, super engaging and like action-packed, it's a lot more emotional and historical, and I love, in hers at least, the historical like lessons you learn because they're just so fascinating and interesting. So I love Beverly Jenkins, and we read 2 by her, 1 obsessed, and then Vivid I would put into really liked it. And that is my tier ranking of all of the romances that we've read so far. I am so excited to watch Samantha's because I know some that she's really hated and I know some that she's really loved. So it'll be interesting to compare her thoughts versus my thoughts. Go watch her video, absolutely, and follow us on Instagram. We do have an Instagram where we still post all of our books that we're reading. We do have the next 3 months picked out, so make sure you check that out. And that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.